Hey everyone, I've been getting a lot of questions about how I'm making my mask, so I wanted to show you very quickly. Full disclaimer, I am not a perfect sewer by any means. I am very sloppy, and you'll see by the way some of this material and my stitching is presented here. So you're gonna take a fabric square, and I think this is somewhere around 10 by 12. Yes, 10 by 12. So I take a 10 by 12 piece of fabric, and I just do this a really easy way where I just fold it in half, and that's going to make the print the same on both sides. If you don't want to do that and you want to have different prints on each side, which I think is recommended, you will just take your two prints and you'll put them together. But I'm actually just here to show you how I do mine with bias tape, because elastic seems to be really hard to find right now. So again, my masks are going to be ones that have the same fabric on both sides. So what I do is I take a piece, and again, I'm using bias tape. So this is bias tape. I use a 1/4 inch bias tape that is single bias tape. So what I'm going to do is cut these in 16-inch strips, and you're going to need 4. So you need 4 16-inch strips of bias tape for every mask that you make, okay? If you're making them with bias tape. So I'm going to show you one that I've already done. And again, I do a fold over. So what I do is I take my bias tape and I put it where the seam, so the seam is, this is single fold. So again, you're gonna have a seam. You take your bias tape and you put the seam side down in the corner. Okay, you're gonna pin it down on the corner, and then you're gonna fold it over, okay? And you're gonna do that for all 4 corners of your mask. Okay, once I've pinned all 4 down and I have them kind of piled up in the middle, and I'll tell you why in a sec, I fold it over. So now you have this taco, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start sewing this. I'm gonna start from the open side, and I'm gonna go about 2/3 of the way in, and I am going to sew single stitch, however you want, all the way around the edges. And then I'm gonna leave about 2-inch opening at the top, so when I turn it inside out, I'll have enough space to do so. And remember when I said they're piled in the center? Well, that's because when you're doing your stitch, you don't want to accidentally sew something that shouldn't be sewn, okay? So that's how we do that. And after you sew it, you're gonna end up with something that looks like this. I cut my corners off before I rotate it, okay? And I have a pin in here, let me get rid of that. So what I've done is left that hole opening, and I'm just going to push it back through. And one of the things I do is I just grab the bias tape and kind of pull it through like that, okay? So you have a nice mask. And what I'm gonna do now is, I've already pinned this, but I'm gonna undo it. I'm going to show you with this one because it's easier with this pattern to see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to take the opening and put it towards me. I'm going to iron this, you guys, so that way it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to put my pleats in. And how I do that is I just take my fingers and pinch it up, okay, and pull it down. One of the other things is make sure your bias tape, the seam side is down, okay? So your seam side is down on all your bias tape strips, and you're just gonna pin, okay? And I pin from the center out, because what you're gonna do next is you're going to iron these. And if you don't have an iron, or you can use your Cricut heat press. Anyway, so you're gonna do this. So you're gonna do it again, okay? And what that's gonna look like is this. So one thing you're gonna do, you wanna have your iron with you because you're going to press this now. And that's the other reason why you want these edges to be really nicely pressed, because what you're gonna do now is you're gonna come back and you're going to sew around the entire mask again. So what that looks like is this. So now I don't do the bottom, but you have to stitch that back up. So you're gonna stitch that, but you're gonna go around your entire mask. So that's why we pinned it. You're gonna take your masks out, your pins out, and then you're gonna iron your mask really, really well again, okay? You don't have to stitch the top because this is your, where you fold it over. So you're just stitching one final stitch around. And again, if you fold over, you don't have to, but if you did not fold over and you're using two different patterns, you will have to do the top stitch, okay? So now you have a mask. Super easy, simple to make, and they're washable, 100% cotton, and it should last. But again, there you go. That's how we do it.